Since Jake's in. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the CF After Dark post-game show. I'm Matthias Schwarzkopf. Got with me Jake Friend hopping back on straight from the Cyclone Fanatic post-game show. And then we got Tom Turner and Levi Stevenson. What's going on, fellas? How do we feel after that?
That's Tom the Mustache Turner to you.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if we'll find out if the folks at home are as horny for Tom's mustache as they were at about midnight last Saturday night.
It's a weeknight, so maybe it's
already
a little less.
starting. Look at this.
It's still after dark, though, man.
That's true. It is after dark. Yeah. See, I will say shout out to Aiden though for pulling off the technical miracle of the century here.
Did it work?
Apparently,
I never doubted him for a second.
I didn't doubt Aiden, but it was more just like felt like we were taking the front of the ship off.
Golf clap for Aiden.
Oh, Aiden. Andrew says it didn't work.
Oh,
wait,
well,
it didn't work. Oh God.
Wow,
shit.
Oh my God.
I take back my clap.
I got a text from Pence, and he said it worked. Well done, Aiden.
Wait. So okay. So some people
take back.
So some people said it's working, and some people said it didn't.
Might be a skill issue if it didn't work.
It feels like at this point it feels like a skill issue. So if it didn't work for you, we might be calling you out. Yeah. So I would say it's up to 15-0 now after going down to Waco and beating some ass in the ugliest way possible. We have found out that this team is, I think I just put in the Slack too, but we found out that this team is capable of doing an absurd amount of fucking around before they actually have to find out anything just yet. I don't want to be the jinx there, but this team has played about 100 different kinds of games by now, and they've won pretty. They've won now incredibly ugly. It's nice to see, I would say, put a team on the floor that can win any way you ask them to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that whole first half I was sitting here watching this, and I'm like, God, I was ready to fist fight a referee. It wasn't so much just because of like it was like one-sided one way, and in certain points of the game it kind of did get that way, and then it kind of evened up towards the end, obviously. But that whole first half, it just like the whole flow of the game was just out of whack, and it was insane to just follow along with. And it was just like they wanted to make it about themselves.
Well, that's classic Tony Padilla for you, though. Just showing up and just being like, this is Iowa State versus Baylor versus Tony Padilla.
That first half was played awful for the first 20 or I guess 18 minutes, and then the past 2 minutes, like just a little more focused. Obviously, it was one of those halves where you're playing so bad and you're like, we're only down by 6, we're only down by 4, and then all of a sudden Jefferson 3-ball from deep, and then all of a sudden we're up by 1.5. Just a generation game from Jefferson, in my opinion, 19-7. But yeah, just one of those crazy wins. It ended up being a 10-point win, but just like I said in my tweet, just a gritty win that you're happy about it, especially on the road in the Big 12. Like, can't complain at all.
Yeah,
I'm not going to win. Great teams cover.
There you go. And
yeah, right.
Because I would say it was like an 8-point favorite, something like that.
No, it was got down to 4.5.
Or didn't it start at 8 or 6 or something? And then it.
I think it started at 5.5.
Did it? Oh.
Yeah, it went from like 5.5 to 1 point. It was 3 today.
Maybe I'm thinking
back
of
up to 4.5.
Maybe I'm thinking of Ken Palm had it as like projected as like an 8-point game or something. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Kenneth always knows.
Kenneth Pomeroy was indeed the closest one out of any of us. I'm curious though, because the first half. Curious what
just ripping out a belch.
That honestly, that burp came from like my sternum, where it just like rumbling. It sounded like the Balrog waking up in the first Lord of the Rings movie. But anyways,
Yeah,
so
exactly that.
I watched the extended version. So I watched the extended version of the Lord of Fellowship of the Ring yesterday, and then I watched the Two Towers today. I'll probably watch Return of the King tomorrow.
I've entered the Levi nerdy portion of this podcast.
Lord of the Rings is like that's not even nerdy at this point. If you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, you're not into Lord of the Rings. You're the nerd. Nerd.
Get them. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Tom's my hype man over there. But anyways, so you look at the first half of the entire game. Once they figured out that the rims were fucked, that they just said the entire game plan here is let's just dump into Josh Jefferson and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of they still kind of tried that the first 3 to 5 minutes of the second half. And then after that, they just said Tamin, because they were obviously missing Tamin for most of that first half from foul trouble and all that. Would you give the game MVP to Tamin or Josh Jefferson? Because Josh Jefferson held you up through the tough times, and then Tamin took you home.
That's tough. It's almost a split because they're not in the game without Jefferson, but Tamin is the one who felt like once they got it to, I think it was 12 was the largest lead. Once they got it to 12, every single time Baylor cut it to 6 or cut it to 8, it was Tamin getting downhill making a play. So it's probably Jefferson because of what he did in the first half, but that was poetry from your two best players.
I go Jefferson just in the case that, kind of literally speaking, he was the only person rebounding for us tonight. Like, he finished with 17. Buchanan, it wasn't one of his games. It's unfortunate. It's going to happen in Big 12 play. Plata played great at some points. Heisey finished with 6 boards. Like, they were all doing solid, but Jefferson down low was the guy grabbing rebounds. He had 5 offensive rebounds against a Baylor team that's super athletic, super physical. So I just think, what's going on here? No comment. Can't speak on it.
Everyone's going to be asking you for start blinking in Morse code.
He's been moved to an undisclosed location, as you can tell. We've moved.
Actually, Tom, it would be really funny if you learned how to blink in Morse code and then started saying some wacky shit with your eyelids.
I can't do that. I'm not that smart.
Give yourself some credit, Tom.
I was going to say, I feel like it's not that
I can't do that. What's
it feels like that's a skill that you could acquire here. Like, just
SOS,
get a book,
I could probably
read
do.
on it.
I mean, what else do you got going on? Just learn that.
Yeah.
I would say basketball. Transport.
Fair. But this is like a project
Packers.
for this. Learn Morse code for the Cyclones, Tom.
I'll do that. What is Morse code and blinking for stop, turn it over in the first 3 minutes, Joshua Jefferson? There you go. That's for you, Levi.
Take you 10 minutes to blink that thing out. But anyways, yeah. So I kind of think I would almost give a slight nod to Tamin here. I'm totally on board with the
Tamin was in foul trouble for the entire first
he
half.
didn't play the first half basically.
He missed, I think it was the first, I think he sat from the 19-minute mark to the 10-minute mark.
Yeah.
With those 2
was
fouls.
that it? I thought it was longer than that even.
I mean, it felt like an eternity.
I say, yeah. I mean, it felt like the whole damn half. But Josh, because I thought I saw someone put in the comment. Did Joshua Jefferson finish with 17 boards?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, he had a double-double at halftime.
Fuck.
It was wild.
That's pretty good. I guess. See, I'm just gonna make the Tamin case just to be. This is the Abdul-Nader DeAndre Kane case. But that's a poll for anybody. That's a deep wide identity light lore right there. But Tamin's shot making down the stretch, I think, was massive. It was because it wasn't just a dump it, because the first half it was dump it to Joshua Jefferson and just let him go to work type of thing. Tamin was coming off screens. He hit a couple threes. He was truly doing some shot making down there rather than just kind of banging down low. Not to cheapen the value of banging down low, but I thought the level of difficulty of the shots that he was making and in the critical situations he made them in was, I mean, because there was a few spots there in that second half where Baylor started to threaten to climb back into it. They get a couple of it. I mean, they were not shooting the ball at all. There was if they took a shot outside the paint, there was almost no shot it was going in.
19% from 3 for Baylor, 31% from the field.
And they took a ton.
I'm shocked it was even at 19%.
5 of 27 from deep.
I couldn't even tell you the 5 that they made. But they just kept, just because of how Baylor is with their rebounding, especially they just stay alive really well. Baylor's really hard to just get rid of because of how well they rebound the ball. So by Tamin's shot making, especially down the stretch, being able to withstand Baylor's rebounding runs, I think was really critical. I mean, like you could tell me it was Tamin or Josh Jefferson. Either one is a perfectly good answer, but the case for Tamin is his shot making down in those critical situations was massive. That's what you expect out of your seniors. He hit some free throws down the stretch too. I think it was awesome.
Shout out Lance for the $5, but are you assuming or insinuating that a horse is not real?
Do you see one in here with us?
That's true. Good.
So point, I got it. There's a lot going on in this comment between the picture and between this picture and the horses aren't real theory, which is interesting. I mean, usually I've heard birds aren't real. That's not an uncommon thing, even as a meme. But horses aren't real is a new one for me. Have you guys heard horses aren't real before? How's mustache is a clip on?
All right, take it easy in the comments, guys.
Dude, this is a chat that just gets after.
You're getting my boss worked up. You're getting my boss worked up right now.
Well, and someone said Sci-Fan 1986 said keep all the interns in line.
Well, there's only one intern in this stream.
And I was going to say,
Big Bren.
Tom has graduated from intern
status.
Graduated.
Tom is no longer an intern.
It's just Levi and Matthias at this point. And
we're the intern. Fuck you, Jake.
Fuck you, Jake.
You bitch.
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them, man. No, it's good to be here. It's been fun having you guys on board. It
is a fun little full circle. It's been a fun full circle 2 weeks for us because you started writing for us when you were just a wee lad back in high school.
Straight out the womb.
Little baby Jake.
Basically. It was like you and Aiden were both in high school when you both started, and now here we are, and I'm texting you and be like, hey, can I say some dumb shit? You're like, do it.
Who cares?
It has kind of weird, because Jake was a kid with no facial hair. Now he looks like a man, and now we have to ask him permission.
No, you don't need to. Just do it. Do whatever. It's probably fine.
That was the wrong thing to say.
I know how this thing. Okay, this is so off topic, but I just noticed the cups in Tom's background. Those are sick.
You got 2 of them.
Yeah, I do.
Where'd you get them?
Where'd you get them?
I was gonna. I thought you were gonna say I got these in. I got these in 2005 at the Iowa State South Dakota game souvenir cup giveaway. Straight at the McCarney era. I love it.
Unfortunately, would have been 3 years old. I would have been in the trenches for him, but wasn't at the game.
They should have given those mugs out for Mug Night in Ames, man.
I was we were at a steakhouse here tonight in Vermilion as the South Dakota football team was hosting transfers, and a couple of them were just chilling and oh yeah, we used to play for Kansas State, blah blah blah. I don't even know who these guys were, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, yeah, we just took one of your defensive ends today.
I'm sorry, it's John Bach. Is your profile picture Ryan Rosillo?
Is that who that is?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. But
Levi's hair, you get the Webster County mugshot page.
That's probably true.
That's so funny.
Hey, oh my gosh. I think we need to address something though that was not so much controversial, but what are we calling Tamin's dunk? Is it a dunk or not a dunk?
Dunk. Oh, it was a dunk.
The way I said it was if that was me, it's a dunk. I'd count it. And for a guy, I don't think Tamin's had an in-game dunk.
No.
I feel like was that his first career dunk?
It feels like it.
I could have sworn he had one other one a couple years ago.
I'd have to go watch because Cyclone Athletics, they do these game day TikTok, Instagram Reels where they ask the players questions when they're walking in. And one of them was,
yeah, I remember. I know.
Do you wish you were more athletic? And I'm 90% sure Tamin said, yeah, because then I could dunk more. But he might have said, yeah, I'm still waiting on my first dunk or something like that. I could be mixing this up.
He does have
what
like
counts as a dunk though? Do you just touch the rim? Like, is that all you need to do? Like, what do we?
I say you give it to him.
To me, it seems like a very clear dunk.
You score 24. You take over the way you do.
What counts as a dunk?
God, he had 24 points, man. That's
He also like he missed that 3 late in the game when we're up by like 6 or like 8 points.
Yeah.
Rebounded, got it back to him. He was coming off a screen, got set, knocked it down in almost the same exact spot. Like, as a senior guard, like, you got to make that, and that's when he did. And that's just awesome to have on the team.
If you're watching freshman Tamin Lipsey, like, could you imagine, like, you're watching freshman Tamin Lipsey that is literally hurting the offense because the defense will sit back at the free throw line when he's behind the 3-point line, and now he's coming off ball screens and heat checking threes, basically. That's development.
Well, I think that's the next step this team can take, too, because at press availability on Monday, Otzelberger said, like, Tamin, he shot it fine. What's the word he used? Like, it hasn't been bad, but they know he can do more. And Tamin entering this game is at 30%. Heisey was well below 30%. Those are two guys that you know can hit threes, and eventually, like, tonight felt like a Heisey game, and it ended up being a Heisey game. Those two, as Milan probably doesn't sustain 56%, that's bound to go down. You feel like you're going to get more from deep from Tamin and Heisey, and what better spot than on the road in a spot like that?
My mom just texted me and said that Milan was the one that said that he was trying to get his first.
Oh, it was Milan.
Done.
Okay,
it was Milan. Yeah, which he did get his.
Shout out to your
in non-con
mom
this year. I know he did.
Yeah, that was against Creighton or Sarah. It was one of the second Vegas games.
Yeah, it was one of the Vegas games. Yeah. So I'd be curious. I think Tamin's dunked in game like one other time, maybe like on a run.
I'll ask. We talked to the team Friday morning, so I'll ask him. I'll report back.
Yeah,
I'll be the CF After Dark correspondent.
Does Iowa State track dunks? I mean, it's like it's an official stat, but it's not. I don't know. I guess I don't know if Iowa State tracks like number of dunks, like the way the NBA
Somebody
does,
said
basically.
they sent me his dunk, but I won't seem to. Whatever.
What's intern Derek up to? Maybe put him on this case.
He's sleeping by now.
Old Balls Derek he's at bingo still, I think. Problem is
does he even know what the internet is?
Problem is when he gets home, he's got to rub baby powder on the bottom of his balls because they've been dragging around on the ground all day, and it's just an early night. He's been in bed / coming home from bingo.
Speaking of Derek, how about the Plata train? Massive minutes at the start of the second half.
I was worried.
Did he play 15.
I was worried in the first couple minutes. He did not look like he was prepared to be out there.
He did not have a good first half.
No, yeah. Well, and he against West Virginia, he was rough against West Virginia too.
Well, I mean, it's an adjustment for him too. Coming. Yeah. So it'll get there. The fact that the Otzelberger's still trekking him out there, that's just going to get better and better as it goes on.
Well, I think he noticed a little bit too with his own game. I'm sure the coaching staff was all over it, but it got to the point in the second half where he was tipping out everything, which at this point in his young career, I would much rather him do that than grab the ball and bring it down and all of a sudden there's a defender in his face. Like, I do not want Plata in that situation whatsoever. So him tipping
Redbird,
it out,
he 100% has to get stronger. Yes.
And he's because he didn't get to campus till late, right? Like he wasn't there till like July or August, something like that.
Yeah, he had some visa issues, so he missed the first.
He didn't get all of his
3 weeks of summer ball.
Yeah, he didn't get all of his off-season training, so
it's also worth noting that yes, we say played professional ball, which he did, but he was playing tier 2 and tier 3 professional ball in Germany. So that is a lot closer to the AAU game than what college basketball is. This is not. He was playing at the highest level in Germany. He wasn't playing against former high level college basketball players over there. So it's been a learning adjustment, and he's a lot better now than he was when he set like 4 straight moving screens against Mississippi State.
Jake might be able to answer this a little better, but I don't think Mulder's hurt. I just don't think he's in the rotation.
Yeah, comment here if he's Mulder's hurt or if he's just not playing.
Yeah, he was on the injury report as probable all week, which I don't believe he was in the injury report last week. So I'm guessing there was probably some sort of elbow or something at practice, whatever happens at a TJ Otzelberger practice. But he was suited up. He was listed as playing. So I'm guessing maybe Plata gets one more foul or Buchanan gets one more foul. We probably would have seen the 8'4" wingspan, but I think as of right now, it's just kind of an out of the rotation type thing.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to need him at some point in some game during Big 12 play. Like, I'm not sure what. Maybe it's Arizona when they've got so many bigs. Like, maybe it's then. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's Kansas. Whatever. That there's gonna be at some point in conference season when Eric Mulder's gonna come in. He's gonna give him like 5 or 6 really good minutes, eat a couple fouls, get a few rebounds, and you're gonna think, "Damn, that was good minutes from Eric Mulder."
So I'm looking at the stat. This will not be the last time that Plata has 4 fouls in 8 minutes.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
that's a crazy stat line, but that's what you need out of your backup bigs. Like ideally, you don't want him getting 4, but it's better him getting 4 fouls in 8 minutes than Buchanan.
That's a Cam Lard stat line if I've ever heard one.
It's a give and take with Plata, in my opinion, because like him learning this young in the game of college basketball, he's not that young as a freshman, is awesome. But I wish we had like a little more athletic big as our backup for the 8 to 10 minute role. And that's a greedy thing to say, but like you saw it in this game. You're seeing a little bit of problems with mismatches with this team, but the great part is the team figures out how to win throughout them. Like that's the big part. We saw that Buchanan did not have a good game today. We went small at the end of the first half and it worked awesomely. And then we went small a little bit throughout the second half and it worked great as well. But it got to the point, it's like, would it be a Ward off the bench or someone like that for 8 to 10 minutes? But we found a way to win by 10 points on the road without that. And Plata's just going to get better too. So it's a give and take right there. And then it's just Plata's going to get better and next year and the year after that. So that point really doesn't go in any direction. It's just like something with this team. Like there's a little problem. You see it. You saw it in Baylor. You saw it with the slow start in West Virginia. You saw it with the entire slow game against Iowa. And we found a way to win all 3 of them.
Yeah, you got Blake Buchanan, 23 minutes, 0 points, 3 rebounds, no blocks, and 4 fouls. So, and this is the second time this season where he's come in with 4 fouls late in the game and hasn't picked up another foul after that, which he wasn't as aggressive this time as the last time it happened, but it's still that he's able to do that. And it's not a noticeable thing that a guy you're playing your 5 position is in 4 fouls and, being a noticeable turning door on defense.
I noticed it. Him and Heisey both had this problem a little bit. Heisey fixed it in the second half. He ended with 6 rebounds, but both of them were doing a good job of boxing out, and then they just didn't jump. They found their guy. They turned their head late and didn't jump. It's a tough spot with those athletes at Baylor, but I mean, like, you got to find a way to be better down low. But hey, we won by 10. I'm nitpicking at this point. So,
Billy, the game was on Peacock because ESPN and all these other TV partners that we have basically subbed these games out to other networks just to basically get them on TV.
Or how many more games they got on the cock this year?
2.
2 more games on the cock.
But they're both in January, so it's one of those things where if you just bought a 1-month subscription, you're good because it's only for 1 month.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
I had a couple.
And then, I don't know what the third game is.
I had a couple tweets on my Twitter of people asking what channel the game was on. Coincidentally, right before the game started. Jake, you have anything to say about that?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
And then I happened to go on the pregame show and see or hear Jake say, "Tweet Matthias." To find out, like, what the fuck is happening?
Just trying to help you grow your brand, man.
Oh my god! I was like, literally, it's 10 minutes before the game started, and people don't know what channel this game is on. I'm like, come on, get with it, people.
So I did see to switch beers. So I did. I was on Guinness on Monday, I think is what it was. But I'm out of Guinness. I had a Coors Banquet sitting around, so I had to keep clearing out my stash. But speaking of stashes, how are we doing up there, Tom? People been wondering where the library went.
You sold it so you could pay for my travel to my new location that you take.
I sold it.
Week. Yeah.
What?
Sold all the books.
We had to move him to an undisclosed location. Don't you remember that?
That's his
sold
safe
all
house.
the CDs.
That's his safe house underneath Yucca Mountain in
the Michael Bublé CD alone got him to where he's at.
The Michael Bublé CD is a high dollar item.
Apparently.
I'm curious what because there was a couple of them that you said like you couldn't pronounce it or you didn't know what the hell it was. I'm fascinated.
There
by
was two that like I looked at me. I'm like, I'm not saying this live on the air. No shot.
Tom sold it to buy it for the food for the kids in his basement.
Jesus.
And we went there.
But Tom, we do need to get you a bookshelf with a bunch of books so you look like a learned scholar when we do this. But it's all just the same. It's just 200 copies of Bobby Knight's book. It's just a book. That would actually be a pretty sweet background if you had a thing and it was just all basketball books. Like I'm sure Tom Izzo's got a book and Bobby Knight and all these guys. Phil Jackson.
Shameless plug. I got Chris Williams' book. I've got 4 of them stacked behind me. I got them as
4 copies of Chris Williams' book.
Well, I bought them as Christmas presents, and the hard copies got a little bit delayed. So my next trip down to Indianola, proud.
I didn't know if it was just a weird attempt at some ass kissing or what.
Yeah, I didn't know if you're going to read one and hope the second one was different or something.
No, Chris was pissed at me for what I said on Twitter last night.
So you bought 4 of them.
Here's 4 books. Go sell them for me, please.
I thought it was a fair game.
Jake bought 3 of them, hoping the 4th one didn't have the first chapter about Matt Campbell in it.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be tweeting about how a game at Fog Allen is going to be easy.
I didn't say that.
But
you basically implied it.
You did imply it. But what you need to do, though, is if they do go down and win a Fog Allen, Jake, you need to take the most obscene victory lap of anybody that anybody's ever seen on social media.
I'm going to make Chris actually put me on administrative leave if that happens. You heard it here first.
That's exact. I would do the exact same thing. If they go down and win, and they win by, especially if they win like going away like 10 points like they did tonight or whatever like that. You know, if they win by double digits down in the fog. Go on the craziest victory lap you've ever thought of. Just let everything go.
Lance Armstrong's left nut, good commenter, good fan of the program, said I gave them bulletin board material. If I did, I'm honored.
Noted anal bead tug of war champion.
If Bill Self even knows I exist, I'm honored.
Actually, it's funny. So
that's hilarious to think about that your bulletin board material for Kansas University basketball. Like,
there's Bill no way it happens, but put it up in the locker room. Okay, I just got a text from C-Dub that I'm actually on administrative leave this time, so I should probably watch my mouth.
I hope we get like the screen. I hope at the pregame locker room for the Kansas game, Bill Self's in there looking like Charlie from It's Always Sunny, and he's got like Jake's face in the board with yarn like going to kill him or something like that.
This guy,
I'll be there. I'll be in the post-game press conference. So
I'm looking forward to the naked fist fight you get in with Bill Self at the end. After all that,
naked.
Yeah, because I assume Bill Self feels to me like a guy that if he's like getting ready to get into a fight, he gets naked for fun and then starts fighting.
Honestly, in any
Borat
fist fight
style.
That's exactly right. That's how I anticipate that Bill Self fights.
If any fight that you were ever in, like it's always about the person who wants to take it a step too far. And if Bill Self is willing to get naked during that, like that's one of those moments. You have to be willing to do what is necessary.
You have to match his energy at that point.
Be like the greased up guy off a Family
Why not?
Guy, you know.
Just a 30-minute fight with a big chicken.
Clip that. Clip it, Aiden.
Clip it. Yep. Clip it, Aiden. Producer Aiden, clip it.
As he's not in here.
He's not. we have no producer.
And we don't know how to clip anything, so
there's nothing getting clipped out of this. Yeah. What do they got? Who do they got on Saturday? Oklahoma State, right?
Oklahoma State.
They're a poor man's Baylor, is how I describe it. They're super athletic. They can score, but they don't play a ton of defense.
Sounds good.
But so they go to Stillwater in like 4 games. That's a tough game. That's the type of team that is going to be a lot better at home than they are on the road. Like way better. 100%. Like most college basketball teams, but they're probably going to be a little more extreme.
Is Eddie Sutton Court at Gallagher Iba Arena a place to fear again?
I mean, it was last year. It was a house of nightmares last year.
It was a house of nightmares for like a decade straight before Naz Long hit that buzzer beater to send it to overtime.
Yeah, it'd been 20 years, something like that. It was like mid-90s was the last game they won there before that game.
Yeah, it was something. It was like 15, 20 years at that point.
I just think a lot of these
they have
road
a
games
really
are
good coach before Travis Ford, or am I making that up?
Eddie Sutton.
Yeah.
A good coach. Yeah, has the court named after him, all that.
That guy.
I'll go take a lap. That's on me. Hand up. We all make mistakes.
I'm old enough to remember watching teams coached by Eddie Sutton. They had like John Lucas and stuff like that. I remember watching those teams. I'm old. But actually I can reveal some information that Saturday, the post game will be myself, Mustache Tom, Dylan Kuhn, and Brent Bloom will be joining.
Whoa!
Brent Bloom's going to be joining us. I've been assured that Brent Bloom's going to get saucy and fire off some takes on Saturday.
Did we use that $100 from the last live stream to get him on here?
We had to use that.
We had to use the tip from.
Yeah, we are now officially fresh out of money.
Yeah, we blew the entire budget already.
Where's that money going? Bloom's been doing all this fundraising for years, and now he is no longer fundraising for NIL. So that's probably just going to his own whiskey fund. Which honestly, good for him. Good for Bloom.
I was like, you know what? Bloom has no ISU administration to answer for anymore. I was like, I bet he wants to drink a couple beers, and talk Cyclones with the boys on Saturday. And sure as shit, I was right.
Well, he famously shotgunned a beer for NIL after
and got in trouble.
The Abu Sama run against BYU 3 years ago, and that was an electric night to be on Cyclone Twitter.
Oh yeah, that was the good shit. We used to. I remember. You remember the days? I think Matias always used to start this thing off where we had this like shotgun train on Twitter, and everyone just starts posting videos of them shotgunning beers before football games and shit. That was a good time. I remember that.
Let's bring it back.
Let's do it. We can just do the shotgun thing. We'll do it during football season. Fuck, I don't know. We'll do it during basketball season. Who gives a shit?
Just do it right now.
I don't have another beer right now. Why don't you do it right now, Tom?
Yeah, you do it, Tom.
Yeah, you do it, Tom.
I'm old. My knees, I can't get up and off this chair.
You were just talking about on Saturday how you were, you're the young one who can stay up late. And now he's like, I'm old, my knees.
But I had some guy to stay up the latest.
I had some guy today at this trade show that I'm in Vermilion at this, which I'm on Potato of an internet today. He goes, he's like, I can't do that because I had double Tommy John surgery on my knees. I was like, what? I was like, that sounds like a great excuse.
They do Tommy John surgery on
No, they definitely do not.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait a second. That doesn't sound right.
You just would have like put him down or something. You don't do surgery on both knees.
You could.
Tom, Matthias is 10 years older and needs tee shots. You're not old. Lance Armstrong's left nut says. Actually,
right,
Tom,
gentlemen.
how old are you?
23.
Yeah, I'm
buddy likes you
12
when
years
you're
older.
23.
12 years older, Lance Armstrong's left nut. So take that.
Well, gentlemen, I just got a text from Rob Gray. He's got the post-game audio, so I think it's time for me to go work. It was
Jake's
fun
gotta
hopping
go do
on
his
though.
actual job now.
No,
Yeah,
this is my actual job. Just
We'll be
come
here
on
to
and
crater this.
go on and
You're leaving
talk
me with the
thoughtlessly.
interns? Oh my god.
Yeah, you're in charge, Tom.
Intern Jake's got to head out, unfortunately, to go do his intern Jake stuff.
Yeah, some intern work time.
Mhm.
But yeah, Tom, you're in charge. Keep these guys in check.
Sick.
Sounds good. Tell Rob to jump on. Give Rob the StreamYard
man.
link and get Rob to jump on.
Give Rob the StreamYard link and a bottle of scotch, and now we're talking.
I want to ask Rob if he's ever smoked weed.
I don't want to. Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Rob feels like he could be 50-50 there. But anyways,
Well, later, guys. You're doing a great job. This has been fun. I'm excited to
the only
listen to
adult
Bloom
in the
on
room has
Saturday.
left.
Now, Tom's still here. We still got adult Tom.
Yeah, it's definitely not Levi and I.
No. Tom's in charge.
All righty, gentlemen. Have fun.
Later, Jake.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, shit. Now I got to move.
Yeah, now you got to recenter yourself and everything.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah.
My
So
nostrils.
I was looking through the scoreline here. It seems like they very clearly said, okay, question here. How long do you guys Dominic Nelson in the first 2 games of conference play has gotten playing time and he's had a rough go. How long do we think he remains just a part you just kind of keep going and see if he eventually figures it out type of thing? Do you think eventually he kind of ends up sliding out of the rotation a little bit? What do you think you do with Dominic Nelson down the stretch?
Well, I mean, he only had 5 minutes tonight.
He did. I mean, he didn't play a lot. That was
also like because some guys had some foul trouble and things like that. But I don't know. He's one of those guys that probably, like, we saw it earlier in the year where, like, if he has a hot hand and he's scoring, like, he's probably going to play. But, like, his defense is not where it needs to be. And obviously he has prior scoring success, whether, he was in the WAC.
Right.
And then, in some games earlier this year, and then there's also a chance that he may not be, fully healthy either. So there's probably some of that playing into this as well. But, I think these next 3 games will probably be a telling story. Like, if he's not forced in there because some guys are, if we're not in foul trouble like we were tonight and he's not playing, he's probably not really in the rotation. And we're up to 9 guys playing in a game. Does that squeeze down to 8? I hope not, but I hope we can keep that around 9, 10, whatever it may be, just because as we've seen as the season goes on, case in point, last year, some guys got worn down and eventually were injured the rest of the year. But hopefully it kind of keeps with that, because, even 5 minutes of a Dominic Nelson coming in, and if he's not basically being a terrorist and cratering the entire game for you, that's still, 5 minutes or a couple minutes that somebody's getting a breather that you can keep guys rotating. So, did he have a turnover? He had 1 turnover. So, but he was also basically a turning door on defense too. So,
was his injury a hamstring, correct? Or
I thought somebody said groin.
Body. Okay. Some lower body.
Something in that area. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he might get squeezed out of the rotation just with the development of Torrey playing more minutes and Bateman.
So Bateman played 10 minutes tonight. Bateman played 10 minutes tonight. Torrey played 34. 34 is that's a big number for Torrey. Yeah.
We needed it with his frame, to play that defense, to get on the boards, because we need all the help we can get. But for Dom, I don't really take too much stock into these 5 minutes just because he's coming back from.
That's so funny.
But I'm not taking too much stock because he's come back from the injury, and the first 2 possessions on defense he looked so slow. They got past him quickly. They got to the right hand so fast. But then on the other side, on the offensive end, he got to the free throw line both times. Now he's not great there, but I do think he could squeeze some minutes because he's a better ball handler than Heisey is. And Heisey played great today, but you're going to see that when we're breaking presses and we're not throwing 75-yard touchdown passes like today, where we actually need ball handlers to get through. Dom Nelson might be on there, which goes back to the age-old question, would you rather have Heisey there, or would you rather have Dom, who's a better ball handler, but if he gets fouled going to the line, we're all holding our breath. So, I said it in the Slack earlier,
he's in the 60s, right, for free throw percent.
Yeah, not great.
Yucky.
But I said in the Slack, I'm the age-old question with this team right now, 15-0, is who's going to be our free throw guy down the stretch? Milan's our best player. I believe he's 21 of 24 for the year. But him getting the ball late, it's not going to happen that often. Tamin was the guy
ball
that
handling
knocked him down.
Right.
So give props to Tamin, senior point guard. If he can do that, we're in a great spot.
I know who I definitely don't want taking those free throws, and it's Killian Torrey.
Yes. That free throw routine did not look great today.
If he does, there's, you could speculate as a fan, whatever it may be, but of his NBA prospect level, which I think at the end of the day, he's going to play in the league, whether it's the end of this year or the end of next year. But if in fact does not go to the NBA this year, which nobody has any idea, but if he does come back for a sophomore season, like his entire offseason needs to be working on the free throw, because with Tamin Lipsey not coming back next season and him being the primary ball handler the entire game and having the quickness that he does, the ability to drive into the lane and get to the rim and the explosiveness that he possesses, he's going to get fouled a lot more than what he currently is because he doesn't have to do everything going to the rim right now. But he just needs to that free throw form is ugly, and even his outside shot is ugly.
I mean, in general, I think if he follows the Tamin Lipsey development curve, he's going to be a first round pick. He's going to be he's going to be like, I don't know about a lottery pick, but high level he's going to be a first round pick because his defense is his defense. It's not going anywhere. He's just an incredibly good defender. But you mean, like I said, freshman Tamin Lipsey was a horrible shooter. He was not a good free throw shooter. He was in the 60s and for free throws, he was like his high 20s for the 3-point shooter. Like he was a non-factor on shots. But now you trust any game on him taking a three at this point in time, just because he's just improved so much.
His percentage is 77%, which isn't like awful in the grand scheme of things.
No.
But as a secondary point guard and as a starter who played 34 minutes tonight, like he's got to be better. And as a true freshman playing in these like big spots, like it's got to be better because the wear and tear is going to play into your free throws and then the pressure. So if you're going in as an 88% free throw shooter and then you have the pressure and the tiredness on top of it, then it feels a little bit better. You going in at 77% with all that, like.
Yeah, the 77%.
Guys, we know it's 77, and I'm just speaking for the chat here.
It's on a smaller sample size, and it's been in games where Iowa State's running away with it. There's no pressure or anything like that.
We were more so saying who we're gonna trust to take those free throws at the end of the game, not debating what his free throw percentage is, just to make that clear.
So that's the thing is like, because the deal with conference play with freshmen is always like how at some point they're gonna hit a wall. Like it's not like sometimes it's like January, mid-February, whatever it is. They're gonna hit this wall where all of a sudden the fatigue, the wear and tear of the season just goes, and then they have a skid for like 4 or 5 games where they're just bad, and then it happens. Now, granted, if you're a guy like Killian Torrey where your bid is defense, you don't have to have that skid. You mean offensively you might have that skid, but defensively nothing has to drop down necessarily. But it's something that he's gonna have to work through. But I think
get a beer.
I mean, regardless of how long we go, get a beer.
Get another beer.
Just get a beer. I think if I were him, I would come back for one more year, develop that free throw shot, get your 3-point shot consistent enough, get to Dennis Schroeder territory where you're like, you don't have to be a sniper, but you're good enough to take some threes and stuff like that, and you're cool with it. Get to there, because then there's NBA teams. You're still plenty young. Your NBA teams can project you out. They'll still take you because you're plenty young enough. And he's still got that defense. He's still got the athleticism, but he can come back. He can be the lead guard next year. He can be the dude. He can be he can showcase his half court playmaking stuff. He can showcase his shot, and get his free throws in line. And that will take him from like that takes him from an unpolished, like, take a waiver on this kid and see how he pans out. It turns him into like this kid can come in and he can be a backup point guard in the NBA right away.
This goes straight to your point, Levi, is NBA scouts have came out and said, when we're evaluating guards and post players that shoot threes for that fact, we look at how they shoot free throws, because that is the purest form you're going to see out of them. It's just them in the basket. So that's what they evaluate, and 100% that's what he's going to hear back from scouts when he tests the waters during the season, when scouts go to games and they're talking to coaches and they're relaying it back. And Van Gundy, I don't remember. It's Jeff that hangs out with Iowa State. That's always around practice.
Jeff Van Gundy.
I'm sure he'll be in his ear saying the same thing. Like, if you want to be a lottery pick, you want to be first round, you got to be better at the free throw percentage, not just because they're free throws, but because that's how scouts evaluate. That's how they see your purest form, and that's how they want to see you at the next level. So straight on your point, that's something I could totally see him coming back for another year.
I mean, that's the difference between Emmanuel Mudiay and I'll just go Dennis Schroeder, like you said, where he's a guy that develops or whatever. But like Moutier came in, and for anybody that doesn't remember Emmanuel Moutier, he was a big time physical raw prospect. Everyone's like, man, this kid can score. He can do. Eventually, he's going to grow up to be this amazing player, and he was kind of a bust for quite a while. I think eventually he kind of made a little bit of a resurgence back in the NBA for just a little bit, but for the most part, it was classic. Like took a guy that was too raw and they didn't get a chance to develop. With Kylian Toure, you can look at him and say he's got the defense, he's got the athleticism, he's got the size, he's got the wingspan, he's got everything. But if you want him to come in and be an immediate factor in your team where you don't have to develop him too much, let him stay for a year. I mean, let him stay for a year at Iowa State and work under TJ, get his shot down. He can follow the Tamin Lipsey path, but have a lot more upside than Tamin Lipsey has. And
you guys feel like we're complaining here because John Buck is making some accusations that we are complaining.
Definitely not complaining. No. Yeah, don't mistake this as complaining. Kylian Toure is awesome. Like he's an amazing player.
And it's the best to have this much to talk about as a freshman because freshmen are going to do dumb freshman stuff. But the fact that he shot 14 shots tonight, had like 5 rebounds, 3 assists, he's doing stuff right now. So when it's February and Levi said that wear and tear comes, he's kind of prepared for the action already. And once March comes, he knows and understands the responsibility as a starter for a 2 seed, for a 1 seed, whatever we are. Like, there's a lot to love about his game. I don't think we're complaining at all. We're just kind of going a little more in depth with how he plays.
Bad players or mediocre players are not worth nitpicking typically. Like, we only nitpick good players because they're like, okay, how can you take this good player and turn him into an amazing player? Like, Josh Jefferson is an amazing basketball player, but I'm sure I'm an annoyingly amount in the chat is I like the thing that bothers me about Joshua Jefferson that I wish he would clean up is that he has a tendency to turn the ball over in the paint. His handle gets a little too loose in the paint. Sometimes he gets his pocket picked, and that drives me up the wall. And
apparently we have picked a bone with some viewers here about free throw percentages.
Have we?
I guess. Jeez. Everybody's digging deep on free throw percentages here. I like it.
But the larger point, though, is Kylian Toure is such a good player that we are now nitpicking. Like, okay, he could do these things a little bit better. He could do these things better because that's going to make him
coach by odds because you guys got defensive quick. No.
I really like this comment because my big thing with March Madness is you need good guard play. You need senior older guards to make big moves. Like Lipsey, that was like a prime Sweet 16 game against like Florida, UConn. Like we came in there, he did everything late. Like we mentioned earlier in the show when Jake was still on, like player of the game. Does it go to JJ? Does it go to Tamin? They both played great. Tamin at the end of the game took over like a senior guard is supposed to play. And when it comes down to March and people are picking their brackets, they're gonna be like, Iowa State, they got that All-American forward, but who's passing the ball? He can't do everything on his own. When he does, he turns it over a little bit, but he's an All-American. He's first team, in my opinion. Tamin, that's the guy who will come through like he did there. He made free throws down the stretch. He missed that 3. They got offensive rebound. He hit the 3 in the exact same spot. It's the big things. Same on the defensive end too. Like I just like that comment because Tamin played so well in that second half. And that's really difficult because he got taken out of the game less than 3 minutes into it.
Yeah.
Didn't return until 8 minutes in the first half. You're out of your mojo. You're the point guard. You're supposed to lead everything. Like, you're out of it. And you come back in, a little bit of rhythm, and then it's halftime. You lose it again. And the second half, he acted like nothing happened.
And I think that's a trait that you see on this team, though, is that there's been previous. I mean, we saw it under every single fucking Perlin team, but now we saw it even under a couple of the early aughts teams where we saw like a lot of roster turnover. You had just like a lot of random brand new guys that if their main game plan fell apart, they just collapsed, and just like they were not coming. Like there wasn't any. It's not that they weren't, like, especially early aughts teams. Like, it's not that they weren't tough or that they weren't, they weren't willing to scrap, but they just didn't have the talent to. They didn't have the talent to be able to take a few punches, have your game plan fall apart, and just find a way to gut it out. There was a couple times, Isaiah Brockington was your only solution to gut games out, basically, early on. But you're to the point now where this team is if Joshua Jefferson's been having a bad game, you have Milan Montchilich, you have Tamin Lipsey, you have Killian Torre. If you have any one of your stars is having an off game, having a rough game, you've got so many other pieces here and Blake Buchanan, Joshua Jefferson has a tough game down low. Guess what? Blake Buchanan's right there. He didn't do a lot this game. He wasn't asked to do a lot. The rebounding match was a tough one for him, but overall, I think this team is so resilient, not just in terms of like mindset and being tough. I mean, T.J. Otzelberger's teams are always tough as hell. That's not in question, but what they are is resilient to everything going to shit. Everything can go to complete shit. The rims are too tight, so nobody can make a fucking jump shot. Every layup is bouncing off the front of the rim. Baylor's running through you on rebounds. Like everything's going to shit, and they're still just hanging there. Their
adversity, they handled the adversity well.
Oh yeah,
and multiple ways to win. Like 2 games in a row where you've had some certain things not go your way. Torrey didn't play his best against West Virginia the other night. Didn't score at all. Comes back, scores 12 points this game. Tamin Lipsey gets taken out this game with foul trouble. Literally everybody seemingly had foul trouble, and the refs slowing down the flow of the game. You're on the road, and they were able to squeeze it out and just, or not really squeeze it out, but that's probably bad terminology. But get the game in hand, and then you never really allow Baylor to get within maybe 4 within the second half and just close it out, with Tamin Lipsey and Joshua Jefferson down the stretch.
And Tamin was just dagger after dagger after dagger after dagger. I mean, it was every time where it was like, man, they need a bucket. Otherwise Baylor's going to crawl their way back into this thing. I think Baylor did they get to 5 at one point, with 4 minutes left, something like that, 5 or 6 points. And it was like, fuck, we need a bucket. Game goes down there and hits a floater. And it's just like,
Austin is touching himself in the shower while watching us.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, if there's ever
shout out Austin.
I don't know if there's a better way to watch this show than standing there naked in the shower touching yourself. I don't know if there's a better way to watch this show, but or I would say basketball. If that's your speed. But yeah, no, I just the resilience by this team down the stretch, just keep grinding those possessions out. I mean, it sounds like it's a little bit of a cliche because that's what you always expect your teams to do. And like, what the everybody's in the shower.
It's literally why are we we are in the shower with people right now? This is where we are at right now. Wait, are we all in? What is happening?
Everybody's in this group hug in the shower.
Everybody is in the shower right now. You guys are messed up, but I love it.
That's great. Bunch of sickos in here.
In my opinion, Jefferson had 19 points, 17 rebounds. Tamin took over in the second half. Best thing about it, the press breaker. I mean, I bring Press Virginia near us, and we're scoring 100.
Travis wants to know if he's on a treadmill and he trips and he fucking beefs it while we're talking. The answer is you send that bill to Jamie Pollard. It's his fault. I don't know why, but it is. Send the bill to Jamie Pollard. But
okay, now you guys are making this whole shower thing a little weird.
It's not weird.
The real question
if you lean
is
into it, it's not weird.
The real question is, as we have a schedule for all of us to pop on the post game shows, and obviously Tom, you are not scheduled for every single one of these because that's a lot of games to do. What is this chat going to do without your mustache?
Shout out to Williams here for the Boondock Saints reference. That's definitely a movie that Tom has never seen. There's no shot.
What is it called?
Boondock Saints.
No idea.
There's no shot. Yeah, it's a cult movie from the 90s. I would have been blown away if you'd seen the Boondock Saints.
There's got to be a segment that we do that we just name stuff that I probably should know, but I have no idea.
You know what's funny?
We used
to do that on the Nightcap, and it was called Aiden versus the 90s. Oh, play do that on the Nightcap all the time. It was the best. And we just need to do Tom versus the 90s. Tom, give us the worst picture that's ever been taken. Give us a really
pre-mustache. Should I do it?
Now, yeah. Tom, are you aware of the reverse of the Aiden versus the 90s?
No.
It's where Aiden asked us a bunch of like new stuff, like gave us like Gen Z brain rot phrases, and we had to guess what it was. It was good.
We did not do well.
No, we did not do well at all. Aiden did better at Aiden versus the 90s than we did at the Old Heads New Trends. That
no
was
cap.
No. Ginger Ale gang, rise up!
Hey Tom, I got a question for you. So when
boy.
Nate Heisey let that pass go for the 75-yard bomb, did it have shades of Caleb Williams to DJ Moore?
That was mean. I'm gonna forgive it because we're playing. As people don't know, Packers fan right here, Jordan Love, wearing the shirt. Got to represent. Team's awful. Team's dead. But I'm trying to be positive. This is me being positive. No, it did not. No.
Okay.
It did give me some memories of Aaron Rodgers to Randall Cobb on 4th and 8.
Were you even alive during that game?
I was.
Oh my god.
What year were you born, Tom? 2002? Jesus.
Yeah, when you were mentioning Oklahoma State, like the first Oklahoma State player I remember watching on my TV is Markel Brown.
Yikes. That was when I was in college.
What is Hey Tom, now let's dig a little bit deeper here. The first Iowa State basketball player that you have fandom over. Like
what's the first one you remember seeing on the TV?
Your first dude on this Iowa State basketball.
I swear to God, if you say Deontay Garrett, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
He's gonna go even
okay. It's like a
along.
tie because I have remembrance of Deontay Garrett, but like I don't remember like how the games played out. I just remember like I remember like a couple plays and I remember like the games he played in, but like not the entirety of the games. I would say I don't want to say it, but
say it.
Just be ready to
the
throw
basketball
hands
player Royce White is probably the first player that I remember.
God. I was literally in college. I was a sophomore in college.
Because at that point, I don't even know. I was 10. Yeah, I was 10.
What the hell?
I was flipping over cars in Visha at that time.
That's what I remember. And like throughout that season and watching him against Anthony Davis, I'm like, this guy is clearly better than Anthony Davis.
He was very clearly better than Anthony Davis. Yeah.
He even said it. He said it on the court.
He did say it.
Mm-hmm. He did. And he was right. But I would say the first basketball player I can remember was probably, I'm going to say Dedrick Willoughby would be the first one I can have like some vague recollection of watching. I would say Marcus Fizer and Jamal Tinsley were the first ones that I like watched full games of and like remember games of them playing.
So I moved from Illinois to Iowa the year after Adam Haleska transferred. Poor timing, I just remember it wasn't like the NIT, like Iowa and Iowa State played. I think Adam Haleska just had transferred over to Iowa and they played in the NIT in Hilton Coliseum. That was like the year Iowa won that one. And I think that was the year after the transfer. Maybe it's 2. I don't remember. No, it was the year after. And we had just moved to Iowa after that.
Haleska got the most aggressive booze I think Hilton has ever dished out, ever, for any player ever.
What about Bohannon 2022?
No, Haleska got more.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Haleska transferred from Iowa State to Iowa and then became their best player. Fuck Adam Haleska. Fuck that. Fuck that guy. Yeah, no, I would say it's that the first football player I remember watching, or that I remember like thinking about, or like, oh, like I remember watching him play was JJ Moses. That was the first football player I remember.
My first
is a good point.
Was Sage
Rosenfeld too.
Tyrese had a big one, yeah.
Tyrese Hunter, we should mention.
Hunter,
Hunter,
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think I went to Iowa State, Texas A&M. Sage Rosenfeld's quarterback. That was the first Iowa State game I've ever been to for football.
Man, the Vroman and Homan teams, man, those are like core memories for me back then. Damian Staple, Tasheed Carr, Dodie Dunson, those Wayne Morgan teams, man. I remember those. R.I.P. Jackson Vroman.
Hell of a first game to go to there, Edwin.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Melvin 48.
That's a good first game to be at. I remember that game because that was back when TCU was still dog shit. They were terrible. Actually,
So
you know what? Remember that game specifically because I used to sit on for like 3.5 years in a straight. I sat on the west side of the arena in the front row on the farthest left seat in the front row. I sat in that exact seat for like 3.5 years. I always got to the game like I was getting to the 6 hours early, like before it was cool to do that. And so I was always there early or whatever. But anyways, we got to it was that TCU game. I remember we were down there with a couple of the regulars that were down that way, and it was late second half. I would say we were up like 20 something. Melvin Edgem, it was in the middle of his like 48-17 game or whatever it was, and the TCU trainer came over and handed me a couple of my buddies next to me. He gave us glasses of Gatorade and said that we were working harder than their team. And that was a cool moment. I loved seeing.
I remember that Melvin Edgem game posting. I think it was like the Big 12 clip on like just sharing it on Facebook, and people don't say this anymore now, but like some guy comments on this. I remember this to this day. He goes, "Well, yeah, they were playing against like a JUCO TCU squad or something like that." Like nobody says that about TCU sports anymore. Like, or really, they shouldn't have like ever. But I don't know why that's just etched in my brain. I mean, he still scored 48 in the Big 12 game. Come on, give the guy some credit, you know?
That TCU team especially, I think they won maybe one, if not 0 games, that 2014.
They had one player that was really good. Was their last name Robinson? Something like that?
I think that was that the coach's son?
Was it that sound was
Looking it up.
Was his name Alex Robinson? But
yeah. Dude, I'm on potato internet.
Yeah, you pixeled out real bad there. Actually, the best part of sitting in that spot was when Michigan came and I got to just cuss out Mitch McGarry while he was on the fucking exercise bike.
I remember that.
Game. That was awesome. I was like 6 feet away from McGarry on that exercise bike, and we just heckled him the whole fucking game. It was
literally returned
did
from
not
an
win
injury.
a Big 12 game that year.
What was the point guard's name? It was Robinson, I think.
Duncan
Kyan Anderson, 5'11".
Oh, okay, yeah, Kyan Anderson. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, Anderson Robinson. Yeah, okay, yeah. He himself was like, I think he was pretty good, but the rest of that team was just horrible because they were still at that point. They still basically had their Mountain West roster, and they were really bad.
0-18 in conference play is crazy. It's almost like we almost did that.
I think we did worse than that.
Didn't we do that?
The year we all just decided to delete from our brains.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah, drink out.
Oh man, some good polls here. Stinson and Blaylock. The team of Curtis Stinson, Will Blaylock, Rashawn Clark, Damian Staple, Jared Homan. That was like that team will forever live in my brain. That was the team that they made the tournament as an 8 seed. They lost to eventual champion North Carolina. They beat Minnesota in the first round, and then they lost to the North Carolina team that had Raymond Felton and Sean. What was that?
Hansborough, Tyler Hansborough.
No, that was Hansborough was later. So this would be Raymond Felton. Now this was Raymond Felton, Sean May, David Noel.
Jeez.
I'm trying to think who else was on that team. But that was like Raymond Felton, Sean May, that was kind of their big two. David Noel was kind of their wing that was big athlete, whatever. But that team.
This was one of the like biggest hostile.
Oh, when the guy chased down Bill Self. That was classic.
Yeah, Austin, are you asking if I'm ticklish from your shower? Because that's important.
How long a shower are you taking, my guy?
Also, how is he typing from the shower? Like,
you know what's funny is there are people that take their phone into the shower with them.
I'm assuming that's what they have that little screen protector thing that they
I remember I didn't know this was a thing for the longest time. And one time, one of my buddies one of my buddies just like casually mentioned that he was looking at his phone while I was taking a shower. And I'm like, what do you mean you're looking at your phone while you're taking a shower? He's like, yeah, you don't take your phone into the shower with you? And I was like, no, I don't fucking take my phone into the shower with me.
Those screen things that you like put to the side
or
whatever.
This was in like 2011 when those didn't exist yet. Or 2008. Okay. Like I'm talking like this is like 2008, 2009, where it's like we're just taking our phone into the shower. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like just taking it in, just getting it, just putting it under the shower head like a maniac. What the hell are we doing here? Listen,
you guys are wild.
Austin is
he's on it.
He's on something.
He's on it.
Oh my gosh. This is what I'm saying. Like how many people are like taking showers with their phone in the shower, just getting it wet? Like that's crazy.
I'm on my phone too much, and I don't even like think about bringing my phone in.
Who isn't on their phone too much anymore or whatever? But like taking into the shower is a whole different thing. The man showers with his phone in a 50-pound bag of rice.
Cyclone Larry 100
screen time is
100% takes his phone in the shower.
Oh, Larry absolutely takes his phone in the shower. That's not even a question. Still the most bizarre human being I've ever had a conversation with, and it's not even close.
And we never know if he's serious or not. Like,
and that's the thing is he's got the bit nailed down pretty good. That at a certain point he just says some insane shit, and you're like,
that checks out.
I believe him. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah. Oh, what's the everyday Cyclone stat? What's that tweet? I don't know. But do we got any more thoughts on this game or not?
Really, for me, it's how strong of the case is it that Jefferson is the best player since like ... Because I think it's getting to a point today, like 19, 17, 5 offensive rebounds, a couple assists, couple steals.
So I mean, there's an easy litmus test. We'll go through these one by one. Are you taking Josh Jefferson or prime Monte Morris?
I think you got to go Jefferson.
Are you taking Josh Jefferson or are you taking prime George Niang?
I like Jefferson more because of the ability to play offense and defense at a high level.
Are you taking Josh Jefferson or are you taking prime Royce White?
I think I need to go back and watch White's defense a little better, but I think I would do Jefferson again.
He was a very good defender.
He could shoot better. Yeah.
Yep. That's a totally fair. That if you're gonna like hold something against Royce White as a player, not the person, the player, that like is his complete lack of ability to shoot. Yeah.
I think Monte's the closest one so far, in my opinion.
And then before that, as we're getting to the point where like you didn't watch them play, like prime Marcus Fizer, you didn't watch.
Prime because you guys literally not Slack, and that I'm really interested in because I've watched the rewatch of the Michigan State collapse in the Elite Eight. Watched a couple games that they won, like the one in Kansas, but like I need to go back and like actually watch. Like
make sure when you Google Royce White, you type in Royce White basketball.
Yeah, I would try to narrow that search down just a touch if you can. But before that, you're talking about Jamal Tinsley, Marcus Fizer. Then going before that, you're talking about Fred Hoiberg. Before that, you're talking about Barry Stevens and Zaid Abdulaziz. Like, you're talking about some old players at that point.
But Jefferson, like, I would take him. I would take him over Niang, I think, just with the ability to play on both ends. It's tough though because
Niang was tough because and granted, I'm biased because I like was in college to watch George Niang play, so like I got to see him, right in front of my eyes, basically. And like, could he defend? No. But he wasn't asked to defend. Like if you put George Niang on a TJ Otzelberger team, I think in a year or two you could probably turn him into a half decent defender. If TJ Otzelberger can turn Milan Momcilovic into a good defender, he can turn George Niang into a good defender. George on the offensive end was a more polished basketball player. Not like a lot, but a more polished basketball player than Joshua Jefferson.
Yeah, he also, I think it's a big thing to have like a signature move too. And if he got to that left shoulder off the glass with the right hook, like it was
done. It was over. Yeah.
Jefferson, obviously, it's a little different with him, and
he's got the mixed bag of tricks.
Too. Yeah, but like
Joshua Jefferson's got
Niang's done in big games, like Big 12 tournament, NCAA tournament. Jefferson, like I would like to see that out of him before we get into a deeper discussion about that.
Right. Yeah, that's like Joshua Jefferson has a larger bag of tricks to do, but George Niang's tricks were more unstable. They were basically untouchable at a certain point. It's an interesting conversation to have because I mean, of the last 25 years, if you're talking about the best players to go through Iowa State, the first two names you're talking about are George Niang and Monte Morris, and then you're talking about after that you're talking about Melvin Edgum and Royce White and all these guys are in. Whoever else after that. But, it's an interesting conversation that we'll have to have it after the season to see what he does in the tournament. Because I think if he has a big tournament, then you really have to start having a conversation that even in just 2 years at Iowa State, that Joshua Jefferson is making a case to be one of the best players in program history. Especially if he just keeps up at this pace that he's playing right now, where he's, if AJ DeBonsa doesn't exist, he's probably the favorite for the Wooden Award right now. And I don't necessarily say that it's like, I don't think DeBonsa's running away with it or anything like that. I think it's just
I think Boozer is currently in first place right now.
Oh, Boozer. Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Boozer and DeBonsa.
I'll check the odds right now just to see if they're updated at all.
Yeah. Just see what's there. He's got to be in the top 5, though. I would have to he has to be top 5.
So for the Wooden Award right now, Boozer's the favorite at -180, and
it helps that he plays for Duke. So
Boozer's number 1 at -180. DeBonsa is +230. He's in the number 2 slot. Number 3 is Jefferson at +900. So Joshua Jefferson from Iowa State University is number 3.
Number 3, right there. And I think Boozer's really good, but like I think he's also getting just a touch of he plays for Duke, so that's part of it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to the way Joshua Jefferson is playing right now is he's gonna make us have that conversation at the end, just like I hope this is not too soon. Like we were thinking we might have to have that conversation about Rocco and Brock Purdy if he were to stay and do his thing, or we thought we were gonna maybe have to have that conversation at some point. We don't now, thank God. But now Joshua Jefferson, the way he's playing, is going to make us have that conversation of, would you take him over George Niang, over Monte Morris, over Fred Hoiberg, and it's remarkable because what's funny though is he's doing his thing and he has a guy on his team that is shooting like 55% from 3, and he's like far and away leading the country in 3-point makes. So like he's got the best shooter in America on his team. He's got the best defensive player, maybe the best defensive player in college basketball on his team. And neither of those two are like basketball involved in this conversation for, being a Wooden Award candidate like Joshua Jefferson is. And that's how good Iowa State is right now.
He's gonna have plenty of opportunities. We play a lot of big games on prime channels coming up.
Iowa State has the best on-ball defender in college basketball, the best shooter in college basketball, and neither of them are the best player on this team.
Should be a recipe to make a Final Four, right? Should be.
That's what I'm saying.
Rashawn Clark.
We're saying
Rashawn Clark is and maybe always will be my favorite Cyclone of all time. Tom, if you're not familiar with Rashawn Clark's game, I highly would go recommend you watch Rashawn Clark highlights.
Dude, those women don't stand a chance against me. I'm telling you.
You playing in the women's church league?
Fuck yeah.
Like, are you just like windmill dunking on like little tyke soups up there? What are you doing?
Well, somebody's got to do it. Might as well be me.
But Tom, that's your homework is to go watch some Rashawn Clark highlights and
he was Greg McDermott era, right? I remember the name.
He was Wayne Morgan. He was Wayne Morgan. Yep.
Shout out Wayne or not. No, not really.
Wayne Morgan, who got fired and then went to just go be like a direct TV salesman. Never went back into coaching. I think he just stayed around Ames, just selling cable.
Must have worked out.
Tom, how tall are you?
6'1", 6.5", 6'1" on a good day.
Didn't know they stacked shit that high.
Don't talk to your boss that way.
Someone says 5'8". 5'8". Are you really 6 foot?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah.
He was salesman of the year for MediaCom.
Matthias was talking a bunch of shit, and then his internet just took an absolute
laptop
took a nosedive.
The laptop does not like the Roadcaster and literally everything else with it.
You'll have that. Yeah. So do we got any more thoughts for I don't think we've got really too much more to talk about this game. It's just a really great road win. Big performances out of Joshua Jefferson in the first half. Tamin Lipsey in the second half, a couple big key buckets. I mean, Nate Heisey hit a big three. Jamarian Bateman played some good minutes. Dom played some good minutes. It was a rough game. Nobody could make anything. And I mean, neither team could make any buckets. And I'm fairly confident it's because the rims were heinously tight. And, they win. Iowa State can win pretty. They can win ugly. They can win with jump shots. They can win, they can win on the glass. They can win down low with Buchanan and Jefferson, scoring in the paint. I have yet to see them play a style of game where I'm like, I don't know if they can win this kind of game. They can win slow. They can win fast. They're not going to go undefeated. Probably not. But at this point, they've won about any kind of game you can come up with.
I do remember this because Jimmy Butler is one of my favorite NBA players, and Jimmy Butler was highly considering Iowa State because Wesley Johnson was a really good friend. And then once he transferred to Syracuse, Butler went to, I think, his community college down in Texas, and then Marquette, or he was already at the community college. I don't quite remember that, but yeah, that is a very early, one of the first.
There are in that whole
which
era,
is a brutal first memory to have
from 2008 to 2014, 2015. There is the potential what if basketball teams for Iowa State are unbelievable. There is an alternate universe that exists in which your 2014 lineup is Doug McDermott, Harrison Barnes, Royce White, George Niang, and Melvin Edgem. You have some version of that, and Monte Morris, and Naz Long, and Matt Thomas. That team wins a national title, and they win that game by 40. I mean, that there's an alternate universe where that team exists at the same time together. And, you've got the Wesley Johnson, Jimmy Butler thing. There's other ones when you go in the past,
Fancy has a question, hard-hitting question coming up.
Dr. J was supposedly down to us in UMass, and then he went to UMass, obviously. That kind of thing.
Austin, I am 250 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal, all right? That's all you need to know. Dude, I'm pruning right now. Dude, what is this, Austin? I love the energy. Just a little.
Austin is clearly doing some LSD stuff.
If we make the Final Four, will Tom shave his mustache?
What brand of water heater you got?
Potentially.
It's kind of funny though because they get real horny for the mustache, and then they're just trying to figure out what it's required for you to shave it, as if they want you to get rid of it. They have to make up their mind on whether they want you to shave the mustache or whether they want you to give them a mustache ride. It's one of the two.
Well, before this gets off the rails even more in the chat, they're way more off the rails than we are. But what do we got? What do we got on tap for the rest of the week here? We got We got tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow we got basketball, strictly basketball on Thursday. Offensive, kind of just full show. Me, Sean D, and possibly Nate Schuster as well. And we'll just go more in depth with the recap of kind of today's game and more into Oklahoma State on Saturday. That's, in my opinion, a true trap game. And then Kansas coming up there on Tuesday. Me and Sean, we both love our KenPom. So we'll get into that. Obviously, answering to the chat. It'll be a lot of fun tomorrow. Probably around 7. We don't have a set time yet, but more than likely around 7.
Yep. So, and we'll make sure to let everybody know what time that starts for sure once we got that nailed down. But that's going to be like a regular thing for the rest of the basketball season, is those guys on Thursday talking hoops.
And I think David might hop on
for some women's basketball.
We'll talk about the women's team. Women didn't put up a great fight today against Cincinnati. So
real bad game in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is the worst team in the Big 12, and unfortunately, this was their first game without Addie Brown.
Just die.
And no, Tom's camera went heinously out of focus. Tom, go like this. Go like this. It should refocus. No. It didn't.
This is live on the air.
Tom has entered a different dimension. Oh, hey, there we go. There we go. Tom's back in focus.
Tech guy right here. It's my video production career putting into work.
Aiden fixed that. Yeah. So that's the plan for tomorrow. Like I said, Saturday for the post game, it'll be myself. It'll be Tom. It'll be Dylan Kuhn, and Brent Bloom will be joining us.
I'd hop on, but I'm going to be too much of a nervous wreck for this Bears and Packers playoff game. Wild. I'll be like 20 beers deep in by the time you guys are rolling through.
Excellent. Perfect time to jump on the
Maybe I will pop on for 5 minutes.
Perfect time to jump on the post.
I've a lot of people on a show.
Honesty moment here. Honesty. Just off the record.
This is definitely on.
You said off the record. We're live on YouTube. What do you mean? What do you mean off the record?
I feel awful about the Packers on Saturday.
I feel awful about the Bears because they're playing the Packers. So
stop it. Come on.
Dude, it's the Bears. Like, it's a miracle they're even touching the playoffs at this point.
LaFleur and this soft team
really had to get a pope from Chicago to make this happen.
Your internet.
Yeah, we literally had to get a pope.
So it just sounded like you going.
Talk about the game too.
Anyways, so that's the plan for Thursday. That's the plan for Saturday. Then we'll be back on Monday. Matthias and Dylan Sainer and I for the nightcap again on Monday, and that's kind of the regular weekly schedule going forward. Monday nightcap with me and Matthias and Dylan. Thursday hoops with Tom and Sean, and a third guest that may rotate in and out here and there, plus David for women's basketball, and then your post games like this. But the post game crew will be rotating out a little bit. Like I said, Saturday's a little bit different crew. And then I want to say, I can pull it up here.
And while you're
we've got, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, isn't this win against Baylor brought us to like our best start in
this is the best start in school history. It's 15-0. Yep. And then on the CF After Dark page, the Lightcast goes up usually like on Tuesday, I believe. The Lightcast is there, and then Sam Phillips and Jordan England will be doing their wrestling show as well. That'll get uploaded there as well. So we do have content over on the CF After Dark YouTube page as well. But as far as the kind of the live stream stuff on the main CF channels and Twitch and all that stuff, that's our plan for the other stuff too. So Saturday is Dylan, Tom, myself, and Brent. Then for the Kansas game, we've got Matthias, Keeney, Matt Nelson, and myself.
Oh fuck, that's gonna be off the rails.
That's gonna be nuts.
Matt is making
all caps,
live debut.
All
live
caps,
debut
Matt
from Matt.
After
What's
a Kansas
over-under, does Matt remember that he's scheduled for that game?
I mean, the over-under is maybe. I might take the under.
I may have boots on the ground for Kansas, to be determined.
You may have boots on the ground. We should, if you do, you should go live from like outside the stadium, and it's just you just flipping off Kansas fans as you're walking out.
If we win, you can get the StreamYard on your phone and just walk around interviewing Kansas fans after the game live on this.
Deal man on the street. We're gonna
get
let's get Mustache Tom on the street.
That's not an Iowa shirt, Andrew. It's a Packer shirt.
It's a Packer shirt. It says Jordan Love on it. Yeah.
I mean, as much as of a terrorist as Jordan Love is, it might as well be an Iowa shirt,
Well, that was mean. Come on.
He's not really a terrorist. Like, is he more of a terrorist for Packers fans? Like, do we know? Like, I mean, Malik Willis is sitting there right there. Like, people are talking.
I think it's a little more on the play calling, in my opinion.
Accusations tossed at Matt LaFleur.
That's good. I've never heard that before. I never heard that. That's good.
All right, let's wrap this shit up. Thank you everybody for watching.
We'll be back tomorrow with offensively offensive, and then again Saturday for the post game show. So for myself, Tom Turner, and Levi Stevenson, we will see you guys next time.